Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab.
Great to be here.
Today we're diving deep into a collection of, well, over 200 advanced vocabulary words. These are words that are particularly relevant for the GRE.
Right, and our aim isn't just, memorizing definitions parrot fashion.
Exactly. It's about really understanding these terms, seeing how they actually work in context.
And making them part of your active vocabulary. That's the key.
We want to equip you with the linguistic tools you need to, well, confidently handle complex texts and also express yourself with more precision.
So we'll explore the meanings, look at example sentences showing how they're used, and connect them to real-world situations you can relate to.
Absolutely. The idea is to illuminate these words, make them accessible, make them memorable, but, without making it feel overwhelming.
Hopefully you'll have some linguistic aha moments along the way.
Let's hope so. Get ready as we unpack these pretty sophisticated terms together. All right then, let's kick off with emulate. What's the real core of this word?
Well, emulate means to copy or imitate someone or something. But crucially, it's often with the goal of trying to equal or even surpass them.
Okay, so there's an element of aspiration there.
Yes, usually. It suggests you admire or respect the thing you're copying.
Got it. Like in this example, she sought to emulate her mentor's teaching style, hoping to inspire her students with the same passion and clarity. That paints a clear picture.
It does.
Now, how does this play out in, say, the real world beyond just a teaching style?
Oh, constantly. Think about business. You often see startups trying to emulate strategies from, the big players like Apple or Google.
Right. Trying to capture some of that magic.
Exactly. But successful emulation isn't just blind copying. It's more about understanding the principles behind why something works.
And then adapting it, maybe.
Precisely. Adapting it to your own situation. Think about smartphone brands. Many emulate that minimalist aesthetic, but the successful ones add their own twist. It's a bit of an art, really.
That's a really good distinction. Thoughtful adaptation, not just mimicry. Okay, next one. Encomium. That sounds quite formal.
It is, typically. An encomium is basically warm, glowing praise. It's usually a formal expression of high regard.
Like a public tribute.
Yes, very much so. A public declaration of someone's merits or achievements.
Okay. The example here is, the retiring professor received an encomium from our colleagues, lauding her decades of contributions to literary studies. That fits. A formal, sincere tribute. Where else might we hear an encomium outside of academia?
Well, award ceremonies are a classic example. Think of the Oscars directors often give encomiums to their cast and crew.
Ah, right. Or maybe retirement speeches.
Definitely. Or even, say, a really heartfelt speech at a major anniversary celebration. It's more than just a compliment. It's a considered, often public commendation.
Carries a certain weight, then. Okay, moving on to endemic. This feels geographically specific.
Spot on. Endemic describes something that's native or local, naturally occurring, and basically confined to a particular place or region.
Like the example. The kangaroo is endemic to Australia, found nowhere else in the wild. A classic example.
A classic example, really.
So it's inherently linked to that one place. Are there other important real-world uses for this concept?
Absolutely. Think about conservation. Many plant and animal species are endemic to very specific islands or habitats.
Ah, so if that habitat disappears...
the species could go extinct because it exists nowhere else. It also applies to, say, certain diseases that are primarily found in specific regions, like malaria being endemic to tropical areas.
Right, which is why you need precautions when traveling there. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, Enervate. My gut feeling is this means something like weaken.
You're right on track. Enervate means to weaken or tire someone out, to lessen their physical or mental energy.
Like this sentence. The long, grueling hike enervated the group, leaving them too exhausted to continue. We've all felt that kind of bone-deep tiredness.
That physical exhaustion.
Can something else be enervated? Like not a person, but maybe a process.
Oh, certainly. Think about excessive bureaucracy. Complex rules and endless paperwork can really enervate progress in an organization.
Ah, I see. It saps the energy and enthusiasm.
Exactly. It drains the vitality out of the system, hindering efficiency or innovation.
Got it. So a loss of vitality more broadly. Okay, how about engender, bringing something into being?
That's the core idea. To engender means to produce, cause, or give rise to something. It's about initiation or creation.
Like the example, the new policy engendered widespread debate among the faculty about its impact on academic freedom. So the policy caused the debate.
Yes, it sparked it, brought it about.
Can it engender something less tangible, like a feeling?
Definitely. A powerful piece of music could engender feelings of nostalgia, or a moving speech might engender a sense of hope or unity in the audience.
Generating an internal experience. Nice. Okay, next is enhance. This seems pretty straightforward to make better.
Essentially, yes. To enhance is to improve something, raise its value, quality, or attractiveness. Augmentation.
Like the example. Adding fresh herbs can enhance the flavor of a simple dish. Simple, clear improvement. What about a less obvious example? How might technology enhance something fundamental?
Well, think about medical technology. Advances in diagnostic imaging, like MRI scans, have dramatically enhanced doctors' ability to see inside the body.
Leading to earlier diagnoses and better treatment.
Exactly. Enhancing patient outcomes, even life expectancy. It's a profound kind of enhancement.
Truly impactful.
Yeah.
Okay, Enigma. This word always makes me think of puzzles and secrets.
It carries that feeling, doesn't it? An enigma is a puzzle, a mystery or riddle. It can also be a person who's mysterious or contradictory, hard to understand.
Like the sentence, her sudden disappearance remained an enigma, baffling investigators for years. A classic unsolved case. Could a concept be an enigma? Something more abstract?
Absolutely. Philosophers often consider the nature of consciousness itself to be a profound enigma. Well, despite all our neuroscience, the actual subjective experience of being aware why we feel things, why we have a sense of self, it's still a deep mystery, a real enigma.
Definitely one that keeps people thinking. Okay, entitlement. This one often carries a bit of a negative charge, right? Like unearned privilege.
It frequently does, yes. Entitlement can mean simply having a right to something, but often it describes the belief, sometimes unfounded, that one deserves special privileges or treatment.
Like the example. His sense of entitlement led him to demand special treatment at the event, despite being a regular attendee. That attitude we've probably all seen.
Unfortunately, yes.
How does this idea of entitlement play out on a bigger stage, maybe societally?
Well, you sometimes hear discussions about, say, generational entitlement, debates about whether different generations have different expectations about work, career paths, things like that.
Comparing expectations across age groups.
Right. Often touching on different societal norms, economic conditions, and what people feel they are owed or deserve. It's complex.
Very complex indeed. Okay, let's move to enumerate. This sounds like it's just about listing things.
That's basically it. To enumerate is to count or list things out, one by one, usually in a clear, systematic way.
Like the example. The report enumerated the reasons for the project's delay, including budget cuts and staffing shortages. A clear, itemized list.
Precisely. Breaking it down point by point.
When might you need to carefully enumerate risks?
Oh, in project management, definitely. Before launching a big project or a new product, a team would enumerate potential risks, supply chain issues, competitor actions, technical failures to prepare contingency plans.
Essential for planning ahead. Got it. Next, ephemeral. This word always suggests something fleeting, short-lived.
That's the heart of it. Ephemeral means lasting only a very short time. Transient, fleeting, often implies something beautiful or delicate, precisely because it doesn't last.
Like the cherry blossoms example. The beauty of the cherry blossoms is ephemeral, lasting just a few weeks each spring. Beautiful but gone so quickly.
Exactly.
What are some other ephemeral things in nature?
A rainbow after a storm, the morning mist in a valley, even the pattern a wave makes on the sand before the next one washes it away. Fleeting moments.
Capturing those transient moments makes them special. Okay, Epicure. Sounds like someone who really enjoys good food and drink.
You've got it. An epicure is someone with refined, cultivated tastes, particularly in food and wine. They actively seek out high-quality, often exquisite sensory experiences.
Like the example. As an epicure, she frequented gourmet restaurants to savor unique culinary creations, living the good life, gastronomically speaking.
You could say that.
Could you be an epicure of something other than food?
I think so. You could arguably be an epicure of, say, classical music, seeking out the finest performances and recordings, or an epicure of fine art with a deep appreciation for technique and nuance. It's about that refined appreciation.
A connoisseur, essentially. Interesting. Next, equanimity. Sounds like staying calm under pressure.
That's a perfect way to describe it. Equanimity is composure, calmness, evenness of mind, especially when you're facing stress, difficulty, or provocation.
Like the example. Despite the chaos of the emergency room, the doctor maintained equanimity, calmly treating each patient. A crucial skill in that environment.
Absolutely vital.
Where else is equanimity absolutely essential?
Think about pilots during an emergency. Or diplomats in high-stakes negotiations. They need to remain calm, think clearly, and not let emotions overwhelm their judgment. Equanimity is key.
Maintaining that inner balance. Crucial stuff. Okay, equitable. This points towards fairness, justice.
It does. Equitable means fair, just, and impartial. It often relates to distributing resources or opportunities in a way that's balanced and takes individual circumstances into account to achieve fairness.
So not necessarily strictly equal.
That's a key distinction. Equal means everyone gets the same thing. Equitable means everyone gets what they need to have a fair chance or a just outcome.
Okay. Like the example. The company implemented an equitable pay structure to ensure all employees were compensated fairly for their work, trying to achieve fairness in compensation.
Right. It might mean different pay for different roles, but based on fair criteria.
Can you give another example clarifying equitable versus equal?
Sure. Imagine giving every student in a class the exact same textbook that's equal, but giving students with reading difficulties an audio version or extra tutoring time that's equitable. It adjusts resources to create a fair opportunity for learning.
That makes the difference really clear. Excellent. Next, equivocate. Sounds like avoiding a straight answer.
That's precisely it. To equivocate is to use ambiguous, unclear, or evasive language, usually to avoid committing to a specific viewpoint or sometimes to deliberately mislead.
Like the politician example. The politician equivocated when asked about tax reforms, giving vague answers to avoid alienating voters.
A common political maneuver, perhaps?
Often, yes. It's about trying to appeal to different groups or not taking a firm stance that might be unpopular with some.
Are there linguistic tells? Ways you can spot someone equivocating?
Sometimes. Look for lots of hedging words like maybe, perhaps, it seems. Using passive voice to avoid saying who did something, or using very general terms instead of specifics. They create wiggle room. Linguistic wiggle room. Good phrase. Okay, erratic. This suggests inconsistency, unpredictability.
Exactly. Erratic means inconsistent, unpredictable, wandering, lacking a steady pattern or course.
Like the example. His erratic behavior at work raised concerns among his colleagues about his reliability. You can't depend on someone whose actions are all over the place.
Right. It implies instability.
What about in nature? Can natural things be erratic?
Sure. The weather can be erratic, changing suddenly and unpredictably. Or think about the stock market. Its movements can often seem erratic, jumping up and down without a clear, steady trend.
Good example. Unpredictable fluctuations.
Mm-hmm.
Next, erroneous. Clearly means wrong, mistaken.
Yes, erroneous simply means containing an error, mistaken, or incorrect, based on wrong information.
Like, the article contained erroneous information about the event's date, leading to confusion among attendees. Annoying, but hopefully fixable.
Hopefully.
Where could erroneous information have really serious consequences?
Oh, many places. Think about scientific research. Erroneous data could invalidate entire studies. Or in engineering, an erroneous calculation in a blueprint could lead to structural failure.
High stakes indeed. Accuracy matters. Okay, Ersatz. This has a feel of being a substitute, maybe not quite the real thing.
You've got it. Ersatz describes something artificial, synthetic, or basically an inferior substitute for something genuine. It often implies lower quality.
Like the chicory coffee example.
Yeah.
The cafe's Ersatz coffee, made from chicory, disappointed customers expecting the real thing. A letdown for coffee lovers.
Definitely.
Can you think of a historical context where Ersatz products were common?
During wartime. Often. When resources are scarce, countries have historically produced Ersatz goods, think margarine instead of butter, synthetic fabrics instead of wool or cotton. They filled a need, even if they weren't as good as the original.
Right, making do with substitutes out of necessity. Next, erstwhile. This word looks back to the past, doesn't it?
It does. Erstwhile means former, previous, or belonging to an earlier time. It refers to something that used to be the case, but isn't anymore.
Like the example. The erstwhile champion was defeated in the latest tournament, ending his reign. He's the former champion now.
Exactly.
How might you use it referring to people?
You might talk about reconnecting with an erstwhile colleague, someone you used to work with, or perhaps erstwhile rivals who later became friends.
Someone from a previous phase of life. Got it. Okay, erudite. This suggests deep knowledge being scholarly.
Absolutely. Erudite describes someone who is very learned, scholarly, possessing deep and extensive knowledge, often gained through study.
Like the example. The professor's erudite lecture on medieval literature captivated the students. You picture someone really knowledgeable and insightful.
Someone who has really studied their subject in depth.
Where would you typically encounter erudite discussions?
Academic settings, primarily. Scholarly journals, university seminars, academic conferences where experts present detailed research and engage in highly knowledgeable debate.
The world of deep scholarship. Okay, eschew. This sounds like deliberately avoiding something.
That's the core meaning. To eschew is to deliberately avoid, shun, or abstain from something, often for reasons of principle, taste, or health.
Like the example. She chose to eschew social media to focus on her studies during exam season. A conscious choice to stay away.
Yes, a deliberate rejection or avoidance.
What else might people choose to eschew today?
Well, someone might eschew fast fashion for ethical reasons or eschew processed foods for health reasons. It's about making a conscious decision to avoid something specific.
Making choices based on values or goals. Got it. Next, esoteric. This suggests something understood only by a small group, maybe secret.
That's the idea. Esoteric describes knowledge, beliefs, or interests that are understood by or intended for only a small number of people who have specialized knowledge or interest. It can feel obscure or inaccessible to outsiders.
Like the philosophy example, the philosopher's esoteric writings were accessible only to those well-versed in metaphysical theories. Definitely not light reading.
Not at all. Requires specific background knowledge.
What about hobbies? Could a hobby involve esoteric knowledge?
Sure. Think about high-level coding or cryptography. Or maybe collecting something very niche like rare coins or specific types of antiques. There's often a body of esoteric knowledge only the serious enthusiasts understand.
A world within a world. Okay. Estimable.
Yeah.
Sounds like worthy of respect or admiration.
It does mean that. Estimable means worthy of esteem, respect, or admiration. It can also mean capable of being estimated or calculated, but the worthy of respect meaning is more common in GRE contexts.
Okay, like the example. Her estimable contributions to the charity earned her widespread respect in the community. Her actions were worthy of admiration.
Exactly. Positively regarded because of her worthy actions.
Can you think of historical figures often described as estimable?
Well, figures known for their significant positive contributions, perhaps like Nelson Mandela for his fight against apartheid and his statesmanship, are often considered estimable. Their actions command respect.
Leaving a respected legacy. Makes sense. Next, ethos. This relates to the character or spirit of something.
Precisely. Ethos refers to the characteristic spirit, the guiding beliefs, values, or ideals that characterize a community, nation, ideology, or institution. It's the underlying moral or cultural tone.
Like the company example. The company's ethos of innovation drove its employees to develop cutting-edge technologies. That core value shaped their behavior.
Yes, it's the guiding principle in action.
What kind of ethos would you expect from, say, a humanitarian organization like Doctors Without Borders?
You'd expect an ethos centered on neutrality, impartiality, medical ethics, and a commitment to providing care regardless of politics or danger. That ethos guides their difficult work.
Values that define their mission. Got it. Eulogy. This is specifically praise for someone who has died, usually at a funeral.
Yes, that's its primary meaning. A eulogy is a speech or piece of writing that praises someone highly, typically someone who has just died, delivered at funerals or memorial services.
Like the example. The heartfelt eulogy delivered at her grandmother's funeral brought tears to everyone's eyes. A moment of honoring and remembering.
A formal expression of remembrance and praise.
What sort of things do people usually include in a eulogy?
They often focus on the person's positive qualities, their accomplishments, happy memories, the impact they had on others. It's about celebrating the life lived.
A tribute through shared stories. Okay, euphemism. This is about using milder words for something harsh or unpleasant.
Exactly. A euphemism is a mild, indirect, or vague term substituted for one considered too harsh, blunt, or embarrassing. It's a way to soften the blow or talk around a sensitive topic.
Like the classic example, instead of saying someone died, the doctor used the euphemism passed away to soften the news. Very common.
Extremely common for death and illness.
What are other areas where euphemisms pop up frequently?
Business and politics are full of them. Think downsizing instead of layoffs or collateral damage in a military context. They make difficult realities sound less direct, less harsh.
Choosing words carefully to manage perception.
Right.
Euphony. This sounds like it relates to pleasant sounds.
It does. Euphony refers to agreeableness of sound, a pleasing or harmonious combination of words or sounds. It's the opposite of cacophony.
Like the poet example. The poet's use of euphony created a soothing rhythm that captivated the audience. The musicality of the language itself.
Yes, careful selection of words based on their sound quality.
Where else is euphony really important?
Music, obviously. Composers strive for euphony in melodies and harmonies. But also in branding companies, choose names and slogans that have a pleasing, memorable sound. Euphony helps things stick in the mind.
Crafting sounds that appeal. Interesting. Okay, exacerbate. This feels like making a bad situation worse.
That's exactly it. To exacerbate is to make a problem, a bad situation, or a negative feeling worse, more intense, or more severe.
Like the injury example. Ignoring the injury only exacerbated the pain, requiring more intensive treatment later. Letting something fester makes it harder to fix.
A common scenario, unfortunately.
How can something like, say, climate change exacerbate existing problems?
Well, climate change can exacerbate existing inequalities. For instance, extreme weather events often hit vulnerable communities hardest, exacerbating poverty or food insecurity in those areas.
Making existing vulnerabilities even worse. Got it. Exacting. This suggests high demands, strict standards.
It does. Exacting means making great demands on one's skill, attention, or other resources, requiring precision, thoroughness, and strict adherence to standards.
Like the chef example. The exacting standards of the chef ensured that every dish was prepared with meticulous care, demanding perfection in the kitchen.
You'd expect that at a top restaurant.
In what other fields are exacting standards absolutely non-negotiable?
Fields like pharmaceuticals manufacturing. Exacting standards for purity and dosage are critical for patient safety. Or, in scientific research, exacting methodologies are needed for results to be valid.
Precision is paramount. Understood. Next, exculpate. Sounds like clearing someone of guilt.
Correct. To exculpate is to show or declare that someone is not guilty of wrongdoing, to free them from blame.
Like the example, new evidence helped exculpate the accused, leading to their release from custody. Proving innocence.
A powerful moment of vindication.
How does forensic science contribute to exculpating people?
It plays a huge role. DNA evidence, in particular, has been crucial in numerous cases to exculpate individuals who were wrongly convicted, sometimes after years in prison. It provides objective proof.
Science serving justice. Okay, exhaustive. This implies being incredibly thorough, covering everything.
Exactly. Exhaustive means including or considering all elements or aspects, fully comprehensive, leaving nothing out.
Like the data review example. The team conducted an exhaustive review of the data to ensure no errors were overlooked. A really deep dive.
Yes, examining every part.
What kind of task requires an absolutely exhaustive approach?
Preparing for a major exam like the GRE often requires an exhaustive study plan, covering all the potential topics and question types. Or a historical investigation might aim for an exhaustive search of all available records.
Covering all the bases. Got it. Next, exigent. This sounds urgent. Demanding immediate action.
That's right. Exigent means pressing, demanding immediate action or attention. Urgent.
Like the flood zone example, the exigent situation in the flood zone prompted rapid deployment of rescue teams, a clear emergency needing a fast response.
No time to waste in such cases.
What are some other exigent circumstances that might arise in, say, a business context?
A major product recall due to a safety defect would be an exigent situation, or a sudden, unexpected collapse in a key supply chain. Both demand immediate, decisive action.
Crisis management moments.
Yeah.
Right. Exonerate. This seems very similar to exculpate, clearing someone of blame.
It is very similar, often used interchangeably. To exonerate means to absolve someone from blame for a fault or wrongdoing, especially after due consideration of the case. It can also mean release someone from a duty or obligation.
Ah, okay. The example. The investigation exonerated the employee, proving they had no role in the financial misconduct. Cleared their name.
Yes, officially found not responsible.
What about the other meaning, released from a duty?
Right. For example, if a task force completes its mission, its members might be exonerated from their duties on that task force, allowing them to return to their regular roles.
Freed from that specific responsibility.
Got it.
Next, expedient. This suggests practical and effective, but maybe ethically dubious.
That nuance is often key. Expedient describes something convenient and practical, although possibly improper or immoral. It's about achieving an end quickly, sometimes cutting corners or ignoring principles.
Like the example. While cutting corners was expedient, it compromised the project's quality in the long run. A short-term fix with long-term cost.
Precisely. Prioritizing speed or ease over quality or ethics.
Can you think of a political example of an expedient action?
A government might make a popular but fiscally irresponsible promise right before an election just to win votes. It's expedient for getting elected, but potentially bad for the country long term.
The path of least resistance? Maybe, okay, explicit. This means stated very clearly, leaving no doubt.
Exactly. Explicit means stated clearly and in detail with no room for confusion or doubt. Direct, unambiguous.
Like the instructions example. The instructions were explicit, leaving no room for misunderstanding about the procedure. Crystal clear guidance.
Just what you need sometimes.
Where else is explicit communication absolutely vital?
Safety procedures often need to be explicit. Think about airline safety briefings or instructions for operating dangerous machinery. Ambiguity could be disastrous. Also, in scientific reporting, methods need to be explicit so others can replicate the experiment.
Clarity prevents errors and ensures reproducibility. Makes sense. Exponent. This isn't just about math, says it. It can mean an advocate.
That's right. Outside of mathematics, an exponent is a person who believes in and promotes the truth or benefits of an idea or theory. A champion or advocate.
Like the renewable energy example. She was a leading exponent of renewable energy, tirelessly advocating for solar power adoption. Someone promoting that cause.
Yes, a vocal supporter and explainer.
Can you think of exponents for, say, artistic movements?
Sure. You could say someone like Andy Warhol was a major exponent of pop art, both creating it and promoting its ideas.
Championing a particular style or idea. Got it. Next, expurgate. This means to censor, right? To remove offensive material.
Yes, to expurgate is to remove matter thought to be objectionable or unsuitable from a text or account before it's published or broadcast. It's a form of censorship.
Like the example. The publisher decided to expurgate certain passages from the novel to make it suitable for younger readers, cleaning it up for a specific audience.
A common practice, especially with older texts being adapted for schools.
Are there controversies around expurgating classic literature?
Oh, definitely. There are ongoing debates. Some argue it protects readers from outdated or offensive views, while others argue it distorts the original work and historical context. It's a tricky balance.
Preserving authenticity versus modern sensitivities. Complex. Okay, extemporaneous. Done without preparation. Spontaneous.
That's the idea. Extemporaneous means spoken or done without preparation. Impromptu often refers to speeches delivered without notes or prior scripting.
Like the example. His extemporaneous speech at the event was surprisingly eloquent, captivating the audience.
Impressive to be so good off the cuff.
It is a real skill.
What kind of professionals need to be good at speaking extemporaneously?
Teachers often need to respond extemporaneously to student questions. Journalists conducting interviews, politicians in debates, anyone who needs to think and speak clearly on their feet.
Articulating thoughts in real time. Crucial skill. Next, extraneous. This just means irrelevant, right? Not essential. Exactly. Extraneous means irrelevant or unrelated to the subject being dealt with. Coming from the outside, not part of the main thing.
It's like the report example. The report included extraneous details that distracted from the main findings. Unnecessary information cluttering things up.
Right. Information that doesn't belong or doesn't add value.
When writing an essay, say for the GRE, why is it important to avoid extraneous information?
Because it weakens your argument. It shows a lack of focus and can confuse the reader. You want to stick to relevant points that directly support your thesis. Keep it lean and focused.
Good advice. Stay on track. Okay, extrapolate. This is about projecting from known data, right?
Yeah.
Predicting trends.
Precisely. To extrapolate is to estimate or infer something unknown by extending or projecting known information or trends, making an educated guess about the future based on current patterns.
Like the climate science example. Scientists extrapolated future climate patterns based on current global warming trends, using current data to model the future.
A vital tool in many scientific fields.
Where else is extrapolation used all the time?
Economics relies heavily on it extrapolating future market trends or economic growth based on past performance and current indicators. Businesses use it for sales forecasting too.
Using the past and present to anticipate the future. Got it. Facetious. This is about joking, but maybe at the wrong time or in the wrong way.
That's a good way to put it. Facetious means treating serious issues with deliberately inappropriate humor. Flippant. Joking when seriousness is called for.
Like the example. His facetious remark during the serious meeting annoyed his colleagues. Poor timing, poor judgment.
Yes, failing to read the room or understand the gravity of the situation.
When is it generally a bad idea to be facetious?
Definitely when discussing sensitive personal issues, tragedies, or in situations demanding solemnity or respect, like a funeral or a series safe debriefing, context is everything.
Understanding the appropriate tone? Crucial. Next, facilitate. This means to make something easier.
Exactly. To facilitate is to make an action, process, or task easier to do or achieve, to help it along.
Like the software example. The new software was designed to facilitate collaboration among remote teams, making teamwork smoother.
Removing barriers, enabling cooperation.
What are some low-tech ways to facilitate something, say, a meeting?
Having a clear agenda facilitates a meeting. Appointing someone to take notes facilitates record keeping. Even arranging the chairs in a circle can facilitate discussion. Simple things can make a big difference.
Helping things run more smoothly. Okay, faction. This refers to a smaller group within a larger one, often causing disagreement.
That's correct. A faction is a small, organized dissenting group within a larger one, especially in politics. It implies internal disagreement or conflict of aims.
Like the political party example. The political party was divided by factions, each pushing its own agenda. Internal struggles for power or direction.
A very common dynamic in politics and large organizations.
Could you see factions forming in, say, a fan community online?
Oh, absolutely. Fans might split into factions based on differing interpretations of the source material, or disagreements over the direction of a franchise, leading to online debates and splits.
Divisions within a group sharing a common interest. Got it. Fallacious. This means based on faulty logic, right? Deceptive.
Precisely. Fallacious describes an argument, reasoning, or belief that is based on a mistake, logically unsound, misleading, or deceptive, containing a fallacy.
Like the advertising example. The advertisement's fallacious claim that the product guaranteed weight loss misled consumers, using flawed reasoning to sell something.
A classic example of misleading marketing.
What's a common fallacious argument we might hear in everyday life?
The slippery slope argument is quite common, suggesting that one small step will inevitably lead to a chain of negative consequences without enough evidence. Or appealing to popularity, everyone believes it, so it must be true. Both are fallacious.
Recognizing flawed logic is important. Okay, fallow. This usually refers to farmland left unplanted.
Yes, traditionally fallow land is plowed, but left unsown for a period to restore its fertility. It allows the soil to rest and recover nutrients.
Like the example, the farmer left the field fallow for a season to restore its nutrients. A sustainable farming practice.
Indeed.
Can the term be used metaphorically? Like for a person?
Yes, it can. You might say someone's creativity has lain fallow if they haven't engaged in artistic pursuits for a while. Or a period of unemployment could be seen as a fallow period in one's career, a time of inactivity before starting something new.
A period of rest or inactivity before new growth. Nice metaphor. Fanatical. This implies extreme, maybe unreasonable devotion.
Exactly. Fanatical means filled with excessive and single-minded zeal. Obsessively concerned with something often implies irrationality or intolerance.
Like the sports team example. His fanatical devotion to the team led him to attend every game regardless of the cost. Intense dedication.
Bordering on obsession, perhaps?
What are the dangers of fanatical belief systems?
Fanaticism often leads to an inability to compromise or see other perspectives. It can feel intolerance, extremism, and conflict because the believer is so convinced of their own absolute rightness.
When passion overrides reason and empathy. Got it. Fanciful. This means imaginative, maybe unrealistic, whimsical.
That's the core idea. Fanciful describes something based on imagination rather than reason or reality. Whimsical, imaginary, perhaps a bit dreamlike or unrealistic.
Like the child's story. The child's fanciful story about a dragon in the backyard delighted her parents. Pure imagination at play.
Exactly. Not bound by the constraints of reality.
Where else do we encounter the fanciful?
Art, fairy tales, mythology. They are often filled with fanciful creatures, settings, and events. Think of Alice in Wonderland, a very fanciful tale.
Escapism through imagination. Okay, fastidious.
Yeah.
This suggests being extremely careful about details, maybe overly concerned with cleanliness.
Yes, fastidious means very attentive to and concerned about accuracy and detail. It can also mean very concerned about matters of cleanliness. Meticulous, perhaps overly particular.
It's like the editing example. Her fastidious approach to editing ensured the manuscript was flawless, but slowed the publishing process. The pursuit of perfection.
A double-edged sword sometimes? Thoroughness versus speed?
In what jobs is being fastidious absolutely essential?
Watchmaking requires incredible fastidiousness. Forensic scientists analyzing evidence need to be extremely fastidious. Anyone dealing with intricate details where errors are costly.
Meticulous attention to detail. Okay, fathom. This means to understand something deep or complex.
That's right. To fathom means to understand a difficult problem or an enigmatic person after much thought. To get to the bottom of something complex, it can also literally mean measuring water depth.
Okay, like the example. It was difficult to fathom why she refused the promotion given her ambition. Hard to understand her motives.
Her reasons were unclear, difficult to grasp.
What are some scientific ideas that many people find hard to fathom?
The sheer scale of the universe, the vast distances and numbers involved can be hard to fathom. Or concepts from theoretical physics, like string theory, are inherently difficult to grasp intuitively.
Stretching the limits of our understanding.
Right.
Fatuous.
Right.
This implies foolishness, but with a smugness. Silly and self-satisfied.
Exactly. Fatuous means silly and pointless, often in a complacent or self-satisfied way. Foolishness combined with a lack of self-awareness.
Like the grinning example. His fatuous grin after failing the test irritated his classmates, who took the exam seriously. Annoyingly clueless.
Yes, inappropriate smugness or silliness in a situation that doesn't call for it.
Where might we see fatuous behavior commonly portrayed?
Sometimes in comedies, characters are portrayed as fatuous for laughs, pompous but incompetent boss, for example, or certain types of attention-seeking behavior online could be described as fatuous.
Foolishness on display. Okay, our final word for this marathon session. Fawn. This sounds like trying too hard to please someone through flattery.
That's precisely it. To fawn is to give a servile display of exaggerated flattery or affection, typically in order to gain favor or advantage. Sucking up, essentially.
Like the intern example. The intern fawned over the CEO, hoping to secure a permanent position, using flattery to get ahead.
A classic image of trying to curry favor.
Is fawning generally seen positively in professional environments?
Usually not. While networking and being respectful are important, excessive fawning often comes across as insincere and manipulative. It can undermine respect rather than build it. Genuine appreciation is different from fawning.
A fine line, perhaps. Wow, well, we've navigated through a really substantial list of advanced vocabulary.
We certainly have. We've looked at their meanings, nuances, and how they connect to the real world.
And hopefully this deep dive hasn't just expanded your word bank, but also given you a clearer sense of how these terms add richness and precision to communication.
Remember, really mastering these words isn't just about memorizing definitions. It's about actively noticing them when you read or listen.
And then, importantly, trying to use them yourself thoughtfully in your own speaking and writing. Don't be afraid to incorporate them.
Keep your ears open. Keep practicing. It's an ongoing journey to a richer vocabulary.
Absolutely. This is really just the start of building a more expressive command of the language.
We hope you found this exploration helpful and insightful.
Yes, and if you did, please do like this video, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to this YouTube channel.
We'll have more in-depth explorations into the fascinating world of language coming your way.